In the recent times, I'm sure you would have noticed that there has been these cases of ceiling collapse, POP ceiling collapse. Zikaloma's house, the ceiling collapsed over a sitting room. It happened in Bolaji Ogumola's house. A lot of people, it has happened to them. People we know, people we do not know. One could ask, what is the cause of this kind of thing? Abi village people don't come. Well, it is not their village people. This is something that is happening because of series of things or events or things that were not properly done that would have caused this. But let me explain the major reason why these ceiling collapses are happening. If you check, in most of the areas where this ceiling collapse happens are buildings where the POP ceiling is laid over a concrete floor. And above it, you have areas where water comes in. So if we have an environment where water comes into a place, and under the place where water comes into, under it is a POP ceiling, and what you have is a concrete floor, what you call decking. Now, there is a tendency that over time, the POP ceiling in that area would fall. Why? You see, concrete has some openings inside it. It is porous inside it. So when water locks on top of concrete, there is a tendency, high tendency as a matter of fact, that the water will seep in and come out under. So that's why if you go to a place where there is an uncompleted building that has stayed overnight, over time, and there is no roof over it, and water falls on top, if you come under, you will see water dripping out under. Now, in most cases, because these are finished homes with roofs, you may not notice that the small water that comes in over a floor that has concrete under, whether you have tile laid over it or whatever laid over it, that water pours or comes on over time, you may not notice that the slab, the concrete floor, absorbs water. Now, it may not be dripping down like you can have when the water volume is large, but surely any water that where water comes over concrete over time, the concrete keeps absorbing water. Now, if the concrete absorbs water over time and becomes wet, it begins to weaken the hangers. You know what they call crossing, the hangers they use to hang the POPs over the floor. It begins to weaken them because water is the greatest enemy that POP has. So when the concrete floor continues to soak water over time, and you may not notice, and it could be that you have tile over the house, but these tiles, the edges point where the tiles are grouted, there are ways that water gets in through these places without you knowing that there are openings in those places, and the water keeps soaking, and the concrete floor keeps soaking water. Now, it may not have soaked water enough to drip, but it may have soaked water enough to affect whatever it is that is touching it. So the POP hangers, the crossings that they use to hang the POP to the ceiling, to the concrete floor, they will become weak at that edge, and in no time they'll begin to fall off one after the other. So this thing that you see, that the thing collapses, it is because the hangers one after the other have become very loose until the load that breaks the camel's back, and that last one is off and the ceiling collapses. This is the major reason why there has been ceiling collapses, POP ceiling collapses in a lot of places. Other reasons could be poor quality material and poor workmanship. Poor quality material in that the materials they mix together and what they use, they could buy fake materials or poor materials. These could contribute highly to this, because some of these houses, especially in estates where they get people come and do some work, you could pay good money to the person who is doing the POP for you, but the person could go buy poor quality materials to use. So ensure that the person doing the work for you is buying good POP materials and his mix is very good. And let them be very honest to you as to what they need for this work. Don't micromanage, because by the time you begin to manage, your village people will be knocking at your door, because very soon your ceiling is going to fall. Do not micromanage the workers. Do not manage materials for your ceiling work. And then again, be sure that the tiler or whoever is doing the finishing over the floor where you are going to put your POP under, please let him put admixtures to it, because that is the solution to this. There are just two things. One is when you are doing the concrete floor, please, if you're going to do a concrete floor where water is likely going to be coming over the concrete floor, please while doing that concrete, let them put admixtures. There are some chemicals they add into concrete while mixing them to make them waterproof so that water does not permeate this concrete. Now, if that is not done, by the time you are doing the finishing over that floor, please let the tiler who is doing your tiling work have put admixtures, enough of admixtures into the cement, and then let him put gum, the top bond gum or whatever other gum that is good that he recommends. Let them have a lot of it mixed in the cement that they are going to use to lay your tile, so that it will prevent water from passing through and getting to the concrete. Concrete does not stop water from going through. It allows, because it is porous in nature and doesn't allow such. So please, let us pay attention to these details so that these instances of ceiling collapse could stop, and then people do not lose their lives or their properties or maybe get seriously injured over this kind of thing. I'll be here next time to tell you something more about the construction industry. Until then,